My partner sent a message, "I'm not yours to own, quit phoning me." I responded, "Got it, I'm no longer your partner, stay away from the apartment." Then I replaced the locks, quiet followed. Several hours passed before the tearful ringing began. For background, I'm Alex, 31, male. My partner, Jenna, is 29, female. We've shared nearly 3 years as a couple and cohabited in this place, solely under my lease, for the past 12 months. Everything unfolded yesterday, and even now my phone keeps lighting up with incoming calls. Yesterday afternoon, she failed to return from her job at the expected time. No warning, no mention of delay. By 7 p.m. I dialed her number, directly to voice message. I sent a quick check-in, all right, silence in reply. Another 60 minutes went by, I tried once more, still nothing, between 9 p.m. and midnight my device exploded with activity. Her message read, "I'm not yours to own, quit phoning me." Zero context, no prior disagreement, simply that declaration. Inside me something broke, though differently from past occasions. I refrained from arguing, from demanding her location, from saying sorry for an unclear offense. I studied the words for a full minute and recognized that familiar sharpness, the exact inflection she deployed whenever she aimed to terminate discussion and cast me as the issue. Therefore I answered, "Got it, I'm no longer your partner, stay away from the apartment." Next I took an unprecedented step, I swapped out the locks. Before criticism arrives, allow me to clarify. The rental agreement lists only my name, and I cover rent, bills, all expenses. Jenna chips in sporadically, though curiously never when payments are actually due. Once the locks were changed, I flipped my phone screen down and embraced stillness. No theatrical follow-ups. No additional texts, pure quiet, lasting 3 hours, then the ringing commenced, missed call after missed call. Voice message, another voice message. Near midnight my phone resembled evidence from a scene. I still haven't played any recordings. That's precisely where my mind lingers. The initial voice message arrived at 12:07 a.m. I left it untouched. I could already foresee the progression: fury, incredulity, desperation, eventually weeping. Jenna invariably followed that sequence. By 12:30 a.m. the tally reached 11 missed calls plus 4 voice messages. Her texts began altering in mood as well. "Alex, stop joking, you're overreacting, unlock the door immediately." I remained mute. This wasn't a tactic or game. This was me finally honoring her statement at face value. She declared she wasn't mine to own. Very well, ownership suggests entitlement, rights, joint living space. Those require mutual regard. Near 1 a.m. banging echoed, not wild yet, measured. As though she remained convinced this qualified as a simple error she could force her way past. "Alex," she shouted from outside, "let me in, I refuse to handle this in the corridor." I stayed put. She twisted the handle, first attempt, second attempt, halfway through the third, then stillness. Next came the clear noise of her heels clattering to the floor. "This is madness," she hissed through the wood. "We argued, grown people don't behave this way." No argument occurred. She dispatched a text. I honored it. That's when the accusations flowed. "You're jealous, you're domineering. This proves precisely why I required distance." I rested against the kitchen counter, remarkably composed. Each phrase merely reinforced a truth I'd sidestepped for months. At 1:18 a.m. her tone softened. "Alex," she murmured, gentler, "my charger is inside. All my belongings are there." No reaction from me. Another call attempt. I observed the device glow and shudder silently on the surface. By 1:34 a.m. she sank against the entrance. I heard the shift. Her voice transformed entirely. "I didn't intend it that way," she said. "You understand, I didn't." I shut my eyes. That exact phrase had trailed every limit she'd overstepped. For the first occasion, I offered no reply. I rested on the living room sofa, not out of sorrow, but because the master bedroom seemed like territory I hadn't yet claimed. Upon waking, my phone displayed 37 missed attempts. While brewing coffee, I finally reviewed the recordings. The opening pair carried pure wrath. The following trio conveyed shock. By the sixth, her pitch lowered and pace deliberate, as if weighing each syllable. "Alex, please, I have nowhere to turn. You cannot simply bar me outside." That nearly swayed me. Nearly. At 8:46 a.m. A knock sounded, gentle this time, restrained, the Jenna version that emerges when necessity arises. I cracked the door, security chain engaged. She appeared destroyed, eye makeup streaked. Hair hastily tied, wearing a sweatshirt I knew, technically mine. She drew herself upright upon seeing me, irritation reigniting. "You're actually following through," she stated. "You believe you can wipe me away in one night." I didn't wipe you, I answered. You set the boundary. She gave a scornful laugh. That message concerned personal limits. You're distorting everything. No, I countered. It concerned lack of consideration. Her gaze darted beyond me into the rooms. I reside here. You resided here, I amended. Alongside me, she folded her arms. This qualifies as mistreatment, you realize, barring me entry. That term surfaced once more, mistreatment. She frequently wielded it when responsibility felt unpleasant. I never laid hands on you, I stated evenly. I issued no threats. I pursued no contact. You instructed me to cease phoning. I ceased entirely. That's not my intention, she retorted sharply. I understand, I said. You intended authority minus repercussions. Color rose in her cheeks. You lack authority to rule on that. I examined her closely and grasped a chillingly straightforward fact. I already possessed it. Instantly she switched approaches. Tears appeared promptly. Last night I merely required breathing room, she whispered tenderly. I never imagined you'd respond so drastically. I inclined my head. Precisely the issue. You never anticipate that I will. She scrutinized me, hunting for the familiar, compliant version. He was absent, and in that instant she comprehended this held no bluff element. This stood genuine. She lingered in the corridor, treating the entrance like a bargaining table. One palm on her side, the other gripping her device, glances shifting from my expression to the chain as though plotting strategy. What happens next? She inquired. You discard me like garbage. I'm not discarding you, I replied. I'm upholding your declaration. She emitted a bitter chuckle. You're impossible. All I requested was one evening free from constant contact, and now I'm without shelter. One evening. I lifted an eyebrow. You never requested breathing room. You declared you weren't mine to own and ordered me to cease contact. She rolled her eyes dramatically. Lord, you're excessively precise. You grasp my true meaning. That's the core difficulty, I answered. It's perpetually your intended meaning, rarely your actual statement. She pressed nearer the entrance, voice dropping as though volume might ease the message. Unlock it. We'll discuss indoors. You're humiliating yourself in public. There again, appearance, dominance, directing the narrative. I'm not unlocking, I stated. Essentials can be collected later with arrangement. Her expression altered abruptly, the composure fractured. So this serves as retaliation, she hissed. Because I failed to report in like an obedient girlfriend. No, I responded. This constitutes me actually hearing you. She gazed, astonished. You cannot terminate a relationship via message. You terminated via message, I pointed out. I merely acknowledged. Her device vibrated in her grasp. She glanced downward, then upward. Where should I possibly stay? I have no idea, I admitted truthfully. But that ceased concerning me the moment you ruled I couldn't show concern. The impact struck deeper than anticipated. Her lips parted, then sealed. Briefly genuine alarm surfaced, not grief over the relationship, alarm concerning practicalities. She gulped. You're entirely committed. I nodded. For the first occasion, yes. She retreated gradually, as though doubting the floor beneath. You'll come to rue this, she murmured more softly. Possibly, yet I possessed knowledge she lacked. The sorrow of remaining had at last surpassed the dread of departing. That equilibrium rarely reverses. She exited the premises shortly afterward, yet she remained nearby. Through the viewer I observed her circling the lot, device to her ear, gestures lively. No need to catch phrases, the narrative was obvious. I had become erratic, domineering. I'd excluded her over trivia. Judging by her motions toward the structure, I'd already been cast as antagonist in a tale currently being shaped. Near midday the messages restarted. Mom insists your action violates law. Lauren claims you cannot abruptly evict. See, this validates my need for distance. No reply from me. 60 minutes passed, tone shifted. Alex, please, I'm drained, no rest. I simply require clothing in my computer. Reasonable phrasing, deliberately composed. Absent blame, absent charges, purely practical, I answered in one line. Pick up possible later with a witness present. Her indicator appeared immediately, then ceased, reappeared. Now you distrust me entirely. I regarded the display, oddly removed. Trust played no role here. Trust presumes reciprocal sincerity. Hours had become repetition. I rely on repetition. I responded, not assurances. That concluded my outgoing messages. Mid-afternoon brought fresh strategy. She returned, accompanied by Lauren this time. Lauren lingered several paces behind, arms folded, evidently recruited as support. Jenna rapped lightly, courteously, performing maturity. Alex, she called through the barrier. We can converse maturely. I offered no sound. Lauren coughed. Things have spiraled unnecessarily. You're intensifying beyond reason. I finally spoke clearly. I'm not heightening anything. I'm concluding it. Jenna's tone fractured. After all I've tolerated from you, those words finalized everything. I understood then her distress stemmed not from losing me personally, but from forfeiting entry to the residence, the security, the accommodating version of myself who'd always yielded. Clarity removed any haste. That evening the place achieved unprecedented stillness. No pacing, no heavy exhales, no pointed drawer banging. Merely refrigerator drone and my device illuminating periodically like a tempting emotional blackmail. I ignored every ring. At 9:42 p.m. a recording finally prompted me to pause. "Alex," she uttered, quivering, "I cannot fathom your ability to act so detached. I loved you. I continue loving you. You cannot simply bar me as though I held zero significance." That ranked among her most candid statements that day, not regarding affection, but regarding entry. Because affection, in her view, always carried stipulations: presence, obedience, my perpetual availability regardless of treatment received. I reflected on countless instances of being labeled excessive for showing concern, excessive for inquiring, excessive for desiring elementary dialogue, and abruptly I became callous for discontinuing. Near 11 p.m. another rap. This lacked courtesy, it carried urgency. "Alex, please," she wept beyond the barrier. "I'll utter anything desired, merely grant entry." Those words froze me. Utter anything desired, not resolve matters, not repair, merely regain passage. "I'm not granting entry," I stated evenly. Prolonged quiet followed, then fury erupted. "You're inflicting this as penalty," she shrieked. "You view yourself heroic presently." "No," I answered, "I view myself as finally attentive." She wept audibly then, collapsing against the entrance. Briefly my heart constricted. This moment typically prompted surrender. The instant I'd persuade myself her suffering outweighed mine, yet transformation had occurred. Opening now meant selecting repetition, not kindness. "I hope tonight finds you secure," I said, but we concluded. Weeping halted abruptly. Silence ensued. That moment confirmed her realization. Not merely anger, unreachability. Morning arrived, silence shattered by unexpected alert. An email heading, "Might we discuss maturely?" I nearly chuckled. Jenna despised email, excessively formal. Excessively recorded, precisely why she chose it now. Messages failed, rings failed, weeping failed. This reframed matters as sensible. The message stretched lengthy, meticulously composed. She claimed feeling endangered, feeling ambushed, emotionally deserted. Trauma appeared twice. She subtly hinted possible escalation if uncooperativeness persisted. That element finally sparked irritation. Not explosive, directed, I answered in 3 brief lines. "You directed me to cease contact. I complied. You declared you weren't mine to own. I consented. Belongings retrieval arrangeable via neutral party. Nothing further." 10 minutes afterward. My device rang. Unfamiliar caller ignored. Another ring. Another, then message from her sister, untouched in ages. "What's wrong with you?" Blocked. Early afternoon she appeared once more, solo this time. No companion, no reinforcement, merely her hallway presence, eyes inflamed, hands unsteady. "My computer only," she stated through wood. "Please, work requires it." I paused. Not from uncertainty, but because this request stood apart from us. Purely functional, basic. "Depart," I instructed. "I'll deliver downstairs." Chain resecured, I retrieved the device, opened minimally, slid it through. Fingers avoided contact. She gazed upward as though encountering me anew. "You're truly irreversible on this," I shook negatively. "Neither are you." She began protest, halted. Shoulders dropped. That marked conclusion of conflict, not via shouting. Via unrequested acceptance. The residence hadn't yet felt fully mine. It seemed loaned, awaiting her return to critique my actions. That evening I packed her possessions, not theatrically. Systematically, garments neatly arranged, footwear matched, toiletries secured. I noticed how extensively she'd occupied space, both tangible and psychological. Drawers untouched by me because hers. Surfaces off limits due to her preferred style. Near 8 p.m. device vibrated anew. Fresh number. "Alex, Jenna here, don't disconnect please." No answer. Almost immediately another text. "Anger has passed. I simply seek comprehension of escalation." Annoyance rose, not from inquiry but from feigned surprise. At 9:15 FaceTime attempt, rejected. Then arrived her most extended message, multiple sections, regret blended with fault. "Overload struck, you interpreted excessively precisely. never anticipated genuine departure. Final statement weighed heavily. She never anticipated departure. Then clarity arrived, how securely she'd regarded me as fallback. How certain she'd felt that regardless of dismissiveness or harshness, I'd remain, phoning, regretting, maintaining stability. I composed reply, erased, rewrote, erased once more. Ultimately one sentence sent. I stood by my words. Kindly cease reaching out. Indicator surfaced, persisted, vanished, then absence. First occasion since onset, no rings, no raps, no messages, pure calm. In that calm arrived an unforeseen sensation. Ease. Calm rarely endures indefinitely. 2 days afterward, building supervisor knocked, not hostile, uncomfortable, prepared phrasing evident. Jenna had approached him, alleging abrupt exclusion and necessity for vital belongings. He inquired regarding possible miscommunication. I kept volume normal, shared minimally. Simply facts, separation occurred, lease solely mine, retrieval via neutral party arranged. Displayed her original instruction to cease contact. He inclined head slowly, promised documentation. That afternoon Jenna attempted final approach. Hand-scribbled paper slipped beneath entrance. She never believed I'd truly forsake her. She felt wounded, bewildered, desired only comfort, not outcomes. Concluded I maintain faith in resolution if stubbornness ceases. That sentence prompted seated reflection, because intent crystallized, not restoration, not responsibility, reversion. She sought prior Alex, the one panicked by stop calling, apologetic for concern, unlocking regardless of conduct. I stored the paper in a drawer. Later I completed packing remaining items. All remnants clearly tagged containers, tidy, impartial, absent malice, absent remarks, sealing final box, device vibrated once more, unrecognized caller, ignored. First-time restraint felt unnecessary, it felt finality. Yesterday passed without outreach attempts, no unfamiliar contacts, no messages, no visitors. Merely ordinary, uneventful day, and I hadn't recognized how deeply I'd missed ordinary until its return. Boxes delivered to mutually designated storage via Lauren, no Jenna sighting. Intentional mutually, it seemed. Nothing remained unsaid that actions hadn't already conveyed. Driving back, I mentally reviewed initial message once more. I'm not yours to own. Quit phoning me. For weeks afterward doubt crept in. Had excess reaction occurred, too extreme? Would typical partner apologize, unlock, resolve tension, yet one truth crystallized. That message concerned neither autonomy nor limits. It concerned authority absent responsibility. She desired liberty to vanish while preserving fallback security. Rejection of closeness without forfeiting entry. Reassurance instantly, outcomes postponed. When I honored her phrasing precisely, accepted without bargaining, the structure crumbled. Fury, weeping. Desperation, not from profound attachment, but from never foreseeing my exit. That insight stung deeper than separation. I harbor no hatred. I view her as neither malicious nor virtuous. She simply settled into arrangement where I perpetually sought understanding while she retained escape option perpetually available. I sealed that option, not via shouting, not via vengeance. Via absence, therefore, yes, I replaced locks, ceased responding, stood by declaration, and for first extended period waiting to be selected has vanished. I selected myself. If anyone experienced cease concern yet remain available, dynamic, perspectives welcome. Validation isn't sought, merely clarity, because presently the stillness feels deserved.